Hey guys, welcome to this lecture. The topic of this lecture is null safety and smart casts. Let's get started. What is null safety? Null safety is Kotlin's type system, and it is designed to eliminate the danger of null references, a common source of errors in many programming languages. Kotlin distinguishes between nullable and non-nullable data types, allowing developers to explicitly handle null values. Null safety helps avoid errors from trying to use things that aren't there, null values. Nullable types mark variables that might be empty. Safe call operator, ? Check if something is there before using it. Elvis operator, ? And these two dots provide a default value if something is empty. Non-null assertion operator, ? Force something to be used, assuming it is not empty. Smart casts automatically recognize and use the correct type after checking it. These features make your code safer and more reliable by handling potential null values and simplifying type conversions. Alright, let's dive into the code examples. So before we dive into the code, let's just go over the null safety. So Kotlin's type system is designed to eliminate the danger of null references, a common source of errors in many programming languages. Kotlin distinguishes between nullable and non-nullable data types, allowing the developers to explicitly handle null values. Let's go over the first example here. We have a nullable variable declaration, nullable name. Here we have in Kotlin, you can declare a variable that can hold a null value by appending a ? to its type. So what that means is that it can hold an empty value, and if there's no value here, it won't bring up an error. Okay? So here, even though the value is null, it won't bring up an error message. It will simply output null. So very convenient. Very, very convenient. Next, we have the safe call operator. The safe call operator allows you to safely access properties or methods of a nullable object. If the object is null, the expression evaluates to null instead of throwing null pointer exception. Right. So it will evaluate to null. So default to null, basically. The Elvis operator provides a default value if the left-hand expression is null. Here, the Elvis operator, so you put the length with Elvis here, and you put the default value here. Let's just put it to 0. Okay, the output will be 0, but it will not be an error message, which is exactly what we're trying to avoid. Next, we have the non-null assertion operator, which is 2 exclamation points. The non-null assertion operator converts a nullable type to a non-null type, throwing a null pointer exception if the value is null. A non-null assertion operator will assert that a variable is not null, which is a bit risky if it's wrong. But it will convert a nullable type to a non-null type, which again will throw a null pointer exception if the value is null. So this is like saying, I'm absolutely sure this is not null, so go ahead and use it. But if you're wrong, it will crash. So a little bit risky, but still a nice way to approach the problem. So next we have a safe cast operator, and that will attempt to cast a value safely, returning null if the cast fails. So it's marked as ? right here. And so it will attempt to cast a value to a specified type. If the cast is not possible, it returns null instead of throwing an exception. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, and if it doesn't fit, just saying, okay, it's null, instead of forcing it and breaking something. Lastly, we have smart casts. Kotlin performs type checks and automatically casts the variable to the target type within the scope of that check. So here any value is of type any, but within the if block here, after checking any value is string, Kotlin automatically casts any value to string. It's like checking if an object is a certain type and then being allowed to use it as that type without having to explicitly convert it. So overall, these features ensure that your code is safer and less prone to runtime errors caused by null values. And I would say this is a very useful feature, once again, of Kotlin. It's one thing that people really love about this language. And with that being said, thank you so much for joining me into this lecture. It's been a wonderful time. Feel free to reward yourself with a break. Maybe have a cup of water, have a short walk, come back to it, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you so much.